Well, hello. We are going to go into some more forensic science. We're going to talk a little bit about witness testimony and the forensic science behind witness testimony and what they see. As I stated in the first video, witness testimony can often be the key piece of evidence to convict someone of a crime. We're going to look a little bit at the New Testament account of the trial of Jesus, for example. If we look at the words of the high priest as he confronts Jesus, he is utterly frustrated because of the testimony of the witnesses. Now, Matthew 26:59 through 63, actually beginning at 59, we'll go a little ways. It says, "Now the chief priest and the whole council were seeking false testimony against Jesus so that they could put him to death. But they found none, though many false witnesses came forward." It comes on to say that at last two came forward and said, "This man said, I am able to destroy the temple of God and to rebuild it in 3 days." Witness testimony. This is what they heard. The frustration of the high priest is that according to the law and to tradition, it required 3 witnesses in any capital crime. And those 3 witnesses cannot just simply substantially agree. They have to fully agree on what was said. Today, let's look a little bit about the forensic study of a witness and witness testimony. Witness testimony and the collection and interpretation of the testimony requires a special expertise on its own. I have interviewed many witnesses on crimes. I've even taught classes on it. But there is a special expertise in someone who can literally collect witness testimony and know the proper way to ask. Imagine being convicted of a crime you did not commit because a single witness insists that they saw you do it. How is it possible for an innocent person to be found guilty? It happens a lot. Things we need to worry about is the eyewitness lying. Let's go back. It may be a case of mistaken identity. Let's fix it to the point where it says maybe you witnessed the crime. You've seen what's happened, and now the police have shown you a lineup of photos, and you are asked to identify the suspect. Could you be 100% certain that the person you think committed the crime is the real perpetrator? Eyewitness testimony has been commonplace in courtrooms around the world and throughout history. But it has a complex place when we look at criminal investigations. Eyewitness testimony refers to an individual's first-hand account of an event that they witnessed. That's what it talks about, eyewitness. They saw it. Not I heard from someone else, not that, I've imagined it, I read it in a book. This is a first-hand account of an event that they witnessed. Now, evidence on the reliability of a witness testimony is sometimes very mixed because there are so many factors in witness testimony. According to some experts, the accounts provided by witnesses are generally reliable. However, the accuracy of a witness testimony is often called into question because of factors that influence the ability of a witness to accurately recall events. A cognitive interview is a widely researched interview method that employs memory-enhanced techniques to improve an eyewitness's description. It promotes the use of rapport building, open-ended questioning, and active listening. An example of this is starting out with just an open-ended question, such as, describe everything you saw. Now, when you think about it, this is going to take some time because people like to talk and they like to tell stories. And somewhere in the midst of this story, there is going to be the truth, or at least something that you can build on. This provides the eyewitness the opportunity to report information that may be unknown to the investigator or to the officer. An officer can then progress into asking more direct questions based on the initial eyewitnesses' recall that they've provided to you of the events. If an officer is not careful, however, when interviewing a witness, if they ask questions that simply answer a leading question, or sometimes the officer can give away information which will lead the witness into saying, this is what he wants me to say, so this is what I'm going to say. It's called suggestive questioning. Also, you can do that with comments. By the comments you make, you can lead the witness into direction you want it to go. In doing so, you can contaminate a witness. You can contaminate their memory. You can hinder any recall that they have, or the details which provides accurate information. As in the case we talked about with the chief priest at the beginning, they would begin by asking leading questions that would give them a predetermined answer that they wanted. To avoid asking leading questions, officers should ask non-directive questions that would only promote a one-way information flow from the witness to the officer. Now, when I was teaching at the academy, when teaching new officers, I would use examples of asking leading questions. One of my favorites is yes or no. Do you still beat your spouse? Well, if someone says yes, you have the answer you want. But if they say no, I don't still, I've now got the predetermined answer that I want. Another one is yes or no, do you still take drugs? No matter the answer, I have established a predetermined result of what I wanted. A forensic expert witness is a type of witness who would provide testimony within the trial. Forensic expert testimony would be testimony grounded within concerning the field of a specific forensic science, which in turn is a branch of the different sciences, which we talked about last week, and specifically designed to assist with answering important questions that might arise within any given trial. A forensic expert might be a specialist in any number of forensic fields, any of the forensic sciences. You could have someone who was a witness in forensic anthropology. You could have someone in forensic archaeology, forensic chemistry, forensic computer science. An expert testimony of a forensic expert witness would be meant to provide an analysis of a particular piece of evidence and information which would then support an argument on the side that brought forth the expert witness. Now, when doing these cases, there are people who have their own experts. My expert's going to testify that's going to do this because this is what I want. This expert's going to testify over here because this is what they want. Expert testimony of a forensic expert would likely provide testimony directly on the evidence for the case in question. Now, during a video this week, if you were watching Andy's videos, he happened to talk about hypocrites. And witness testimony can be one of the most compelling types of evidence in a trial, but some witnesses are more trustworthy or believable than others. So what makes a witness more or less believable? Well, one of the things that does is, do the witnesses have a personal or financial interest in the case? That's being a hypocrite. If you are testifying because you are going to be able to gain personally or financially. As I mentioned from the beginning, from Matthew 26, Those witnesses had a personal interest in the outcome of what it was going to be. That's why they gave the testimony that they gave. Are the witnesses biased against either party that's involved? Once again, witnesses that were testifying against Jesus, they were biased. Does other evidence support or contradict what the witnesses said? If we go back to what I said in Matthew 26:59, it says, now the chief priests and the whole council were seeking false testimony against Jesus so that they can put him to death. They were hypocrites. They were seeking false testimony because they had a predetermined idea of what they wanted. Now, Mark, if you go up, look in the Gospel of Mark at 14:55, it says, now the chief priests and the whole council were seeking testimony against Jesus to put him to death, but they found none. Christ was charged with violating the Sabbath law by threatening to destroy the Jewish temple. He was charged with sorcery, claiming to be the Son of God and the Messiah. In order to support the claims, the Sanhedrin concocted evidence on their behalf. How much more hypocritical can you get than that? The thing about it is that we want to remember is we are all guilty. We are all guilty of the sin that we have. And Jesus being our witness for us on our behalf, he suffered and he bled and he died so that we would not have to stand trial and suffer the way he did. He is our expert witness. Next week, we're going to look into fingerprints and a little bit how fingerprints work.